Hello everyone, I know it's been a while, but I'm back with another video. Uh, Again, finally, after like 4 or 5 months. Um, Quick backstory, I had a new job working at the bar. Um, Finances are getting better, and I'm finding more time to do more of these videos and more studying. But probably around June or July, I'll cut back on work and I'll probably start putting more focus on my studies. I've been studying cyber here and there, but right now not as much. But money's well. Um, Health, kind of not really, but we're getting there. As you can see, I got a new camera angle. That's because I actually have a physical camera, and as you can see, I now have two monitors, right? Two monitors. Two 40 hertz monitor, one 44 hertz monitor, but this one's running 100 hertz because I don't really have a reason. Actually 60 because I don't have like a valid reason to use all 144 hertz. We also have a new custom PC. I built this myself, and I know like I'm moving the camera so much you can't really see much, but there you go. That's the new setup with the um, AMD graphics card, as you can see right there. CPU cooler, 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, all that cool jazz, right? I won't get into too much of the specs and whatnot. Sorry, my camera wires are a little funny on me. Yeah. Oh boy, this is fun. Let's just leave it like that. Yeah. Okay. Today's topic is going to be why your computer is running slow. Um, you do like a quick Google search, you could be able to find a couple of reasons, but I'll tell you like the main reasons. I already did the Google search here. Okay, uh, I'll just use some of these as my list, and then I'm gonna put it right here. I know the screen is too bright, which is kind of odd. It looks like it's white. It looks like there's nothing in it, but yeah, there's something. Um, but let me just go through the most common reasons that why your computer is slow. Um, there are common, right? Some of them are common, some of them not so common, right? But I'll go through over like the very simple stuff. One of them is you have too many startup apps, and that's on the list right here. And if you're on Windows, and as you can see, I'm on Windows, but as you can see as well, I I um I didn't activate it that because I just used the ISO. Um, you're allowed to use Windows for free, but if you want to take full advantage of like the Windows applications and the Windows Store and whatever, you're gonna need to activate it. But I don't have a reason to use it, so I don't care for it. But one of them is too many startup apps, right? And in order to check startup apps, just you go to startup apps, right? So you just click on the window right here, type in startup apps, system settings, right? And then these are all your startup apps right here. Um, Sometimes when you download a new application, it's going to be automatically on, like this, right? Not the terminal, obviously. Like these will be on. If you're wondering Windows 11, all you gotta do is just check these out, right? And you're set and done. Like only give the ones that you need. So this one I need. This one is audio, so I need that. We definitely need Windows Defender, right, to tell us what happened while our computer's off or sleeping, right? So that's one of the reasons. Um, Really quick fix, right? Another one on this list is says too many background apps, right? So if you go through Task Manager, right? You have this is Task Manager, and if you don't have it on the taskbar, just type in Task Manager right here. Another way to pull something up is to do Windows R, and you'll see like this little prompt right here. See this little prompt, and all you gotta do is just type in Task Manager, and you can't find it. Whatever. Just go to Windows Task Manager. interesting. And just look at all the background apps that you have running. So I have, even though I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, this right here is like, that's 2 gigabytes, 3 gigabytes in total, it seems. So I have 3 gigabytes of used up RAM. And if you see any of these processes that you're not using, just go ahead and end it. So right click end task, right? So I might as well just go ahead and do it, right? But yeah, then you have Windows processes. I recommend you kind of don't touch with these, right? Because you kind of need these to work. Well, I mean, you can kind of like remote procedures. You kind of don't need phone service, and you do need local systems. IP helper, maybe human interface, definitely need that. But honestly, like, they don't really take up much space except for this one right here. Oh, my video went out. Wi-Fi went out. My Wi-Fi went out, but it's okay. I can still record, right? It is what it is. We're gonna. Yeah, I have no Wi-Fi. Crazy. That's all right. I can still record. But turning off these will help you very much, right? So that's another reason why. Um, Other reasons, it says to upgrade your hard drive. Now we're in the modern day, and actually I'll just pull up the list here because why not? Since you can't see my face, upgrading your hard drive. We're now in a day and age where like most of our hard drives are up to date, right? We have modern laptops, modern computers that already have upgraded hard drives like NVMe. Oh, looks like I'm back online. NVMe and all that stuff, right? So NVMe M.2, which is the most highest form of storage right now. But that's another reason. And we're just gonna go down the list of not so bad to very bad, right? Corrupted or inefficient RAM. I never dealt with this. Okay, so this goes more into like malware and viruses. But technically, if you're not clicking on random links and you're not downloading anything that might be suspicious, okay, you should be fine. But I never have outdated drivers. That's a good reason, right? Um, how to handle outdated drivers, right? Is to just go to, like I said, Windows, and just do update check for updates, right? As you can see, I already checked for updates. Just click on the button, it'll check for you, and get the latest updates. You can turn that on if you want, right? But I turned this off because, sometimes pushing updates, and you see I have an update right here, right? But pushing updates every now and then, they're gonna have bugs, okay? They will have bugs, right? I like to check mine every week or every 2 weeks, sometimes once a month, right? Nothing really insignificant will happen. So pushing an update isn't really my top priority right now, unless I'm detecting very serious performance issues. I will update, but I would check. But if it's like a security, right here, if it's like a security related stuff, yeah, I'll probably update it, right? So that's another reason why your computer is having a hard time keeping up. Computer hardware is another one, but like I said, we're so kept up with technology. This should not be a problem. Now, if you're running like something like an old, you know, time capsule ancient computer like this one right here. So this one's a Lenovo T480. Most of you have already seen what this laptop is, okay? It runs Linux, okay? I turned it off. It runs Linux. I did a couple upgrades on it, right? I upgraded the SSD, NVMe, right? Actually, I switched that out, but I'll get more into that later on. I switched the screen, It ran like 1388 by 769 resolution. It was terrible, so I switched to a 1920 by 1080. Beautiful resolution now. And I switched the RAM from 8 gigabytes to uh, 8 gigabytes to 24, because putting both new RAMs in the RAM slots, it kind of didn't correspond with the motherboard, so it kind of bit me back in the butt. But if you're dealing with something old like that, and there's no upgrades for it, like the Lenovo T480 or the Lenovo T490 or the 5s or whatever, it's probably a good time to look for an upgrade, right? So, so computer hardware is another thing. Overheating is another thing too. That kind of boils down to a couple things, right? It's either you didn't clean your computer properly every 2 months. You didn't like dust it out, get all the dust out, or like you downloaded malware that really takes up all of your resources. That's another thing. Thermal pasting it, you're not thermal pasting your PC right. When it comes to laptop, thermal pasting is a little bit more interesting. I haven't done that because I didn't need to, but it gets more complicated. But definitely dusting it and checking for malware, it's something that you should probably look into. Needs a restart. I kind of don't know what that means. It could mean a couple things, like maybe after a system check, or maybe you have maybe you left your computer on for too long. That could be another reason why your computer's slow. Like, I never had this problem. I never leave my computer on 24/7, 365. Some people do, which I don't know why. Like, give your computer a break, right? Computer memory, which, I mean, I could see that, but if you're more of a minimalist like me, you kind of don't fall into that kind of category. One example is that when you have too many tabs on, right? So if I open Firefox real quick, right, and I just open more tabs like this, right? Let's just keep opening. Right, let's just, do right, and we do that. I don't know how many tabs I got open, but I know I got quite a lot, right? And we go to our task manager right here. Yeah, there we go. It's reading 2 gigabytes, right? 2 gigabytes of RAM usage. So that will definitely kill your performance when it comes to, your computer. Having too many Chrome tabs open, really using up all of your RAM, and RAM means random access memory. And what that does is basically when you have an application open, right, that application is only temporary, right? So the second you close it, it's going to automatically deplete itself, right? Sometimes it might run in the background, but 9 times out of 10 it'll deplete. The more stuff you have open, so you got Chrome, you got Spotify, Discord, Steam, you're playing a game, like the more of the applications you have, the more memory is going to be in your RAM, right? And the slower it'll be. Okay. Another one is antivirus scans. Now, I think it needs to be a little bit more specific when it says that. It could be consistent antivirus scans, but I don't really see a problem with consistent antivirus scans. But that's just me. But I think a more complete answer, or a more technological answer, or a more it makes sense answer, it's when you have too many antivirus softwares, right? So Norton, then you have like Life 365, CC Cleaner, you got Malwarebytes, you have all this stuff. And to be honest with you, like Windows Defender, if you're wondering Windows, of course, is more than enough, right? You might not think it's enough, but it's more than enough because Windows is always updated. They're always aware of the latest and greatest attacks. Now, if you're gonna look into antivirus softwares, I highly recommend Malwarebytes. I'm pretty sure you do have to pay for it, but I think they have a free trial. But um, I think there is a free version too. I didn't check, but I don't use Malwarebytes. But I have used it. Like, I don't use it as my main source of antivirus software, but I have used it before, right? And I think it's pretty cool. It checks all of your files, see if there's any malicious code in a file or if there's any malicious executables in your system. So Malwarebytes, if you're, I don't know, if you want that extra layer of security, I think Malwarebytes is pretty cool, right? Computer too old, right? That kind of makes sense in a way because old computers equals old hardware. And with this day and age of technology, we're taking up more and more resources, and we're taking up more and um, more strenuous we have more strenuous applications that need more power and need more memory and need more CPU threads, core threads to actually process the application. Um, Nowadays, like a basic video game in today's day and age is probably like 30 gigabytes. Okay, a AAA game at least. If you're going for a more modern game, probably like 10 gigabytes or even a gigabyte sometimes if you look hard enough. But yeah, outdated software is another one, right? I don't know how, to be honest with you, but I mean that could be the reason as well. Like, I think outdated software, as in you didn't check for your updates, as I said. And another one is internal PC dust, which completely makes sense because you're restricting airflow into your computer. Excuse me. You're restricting airflow to your computer, making it work harder, making it hotter, and the hotter your computer is, the less it's going to perform, right? So when you go into your task manager, you look at performance, right? You kind of, and you like go to CPU. You kind of want to look into the temperatures, and I don't know where I can find it. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I couldn't really find it in the task manager. The only thing I can find temperature wise in task manager is GPU wise, which is this is 38C, 52C. Now 52 degrees Celsius is actually normal. Anything higher than 80, you might want to look more into. But if you're on a PC and you have installed drivers, you can actually look a little bit more when it comes to your CPU. So my GPU, same thing as in the task manager, but your CPU is also nothing you want to worry about, right? Because your CPU is it's basically the brains of the operation of your computer, and CPU means central processing unit. CPU. What it does is like, say if you wanna, this is gonna be a very bad explanation, but I'll try my best. Say you want to run an application, right? That CPU is going to be transferring the process for it to run, right? Had to take a quick look at my notes. It's just basically when you start an application, the CPU is going to take that executable and put it into RAM, put it into memory, so it can run, right? That's like the brief explanation that I have, right? But like I said, the higher the CPU temperature, the more you should be worried about it, right? So any 42, 50, that's cool, but any higher than 80, maybe even 75, you should really be looking into that. Maybe apply a thermal paste, reapplying the thermal paste, making sure that you apply a good amount. A pea size is good, right? Another thing is make sure if you're running a PC that your cooler is actually touching the CPU. That's another thing. If you're building a PC and you see those temperature spikes up, you definitely want to make sure that you peeled off the plastic wrapping on the CPU cooler, the header of the CPU cooler. You make sure you peel that off because some people actually forgot. I thankfully didn't forget because I actually saw the piece of plastic, but when you put on the CPU cooler or an AIO or a CPU fan cooler into your CPU, make sure you take that piece of plastic off, otherwise your temperatures are going to go skyrocket. But yeah, thermal paste. And if you're like me and you really want the best cooling, look into an AIO or all-in-one unit, right? Basically, it's liquid cooling, and make sure CPU temperature go a little bit down, probably 1 or 2. I mean, it looks cool. I am really interested in looking into one. I only have fans, which is budget friendly and it's quiet. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of looking into an AIO, which is really cool. Certainly not cheap, but there are some good ones out there that you can definitely get for less than $100. So I'm definitely looking into that. Right? Now, I think the final reason why you're having slow computer problems, and I think this should be like your first or second idea of why your computer is slow. Um, but if you know what you're doing, in most cases it should be your last reason why it should be slow, and it's because you have malware, you have a virus in your computer. Now, in order to check if you do have a virus running, it's to literally open Task Manager, right, and look at all your processes. There's a couple of types of viruses, and there's a couple of types of malware that actually consumes all of your resources for it to go slow. So if you're involved into crypto malware, you're gonna see a spike in GPU performance, right? Even though you're not using a lot, you're gonna see a spike of GPU performance. If it's like an code executable that you were not aware of, you could be taking a lot of CPU as well. Not even CPU. You can see that it's taking up more RAM actually too. So in order for you to tell, go to Task Manager and look at all of the applications that are running and see if it's like out of the normal. So like Discord, OBS settings, Steam, Task Manager. These are completely normal for me. Okay, so I'm not really worried. The key thing that you're looking for is the highest usage of RAM, right? So no, Windows Explorer, like that one's okay. Uh, Secure system, Start, Steam. These are kind of normal looking for me, at least for me, right? But if you see some high amounts of RAM that you're not fully aware of and you don't know where it came from, you probably might want to look into that, right? A couple ways to remove a virus is to actually use an anti-malware software. I know I recommend not to use it, but in cases like these, I'm okay with it. Another way to remove malware is to look into like USB tools that are out there. I personally am starting to use a USB tool called Medicat, and I downloaded it into this NVMe M.2, and yes, this is the one that I have in some videos back then. But I switched out the hard drive, so this one is actually a terabyte, not 128 gigabytes. That one is now in my laptop. I feel like at this point in time, I feel like I like to record more of do more recordings on like logs of do malware analysis, looking at security logs from intrusion detection systems, IPSs, Wiresharks to monitor and to record networks. So I'm using this, right? Another thing is that I like to use different types of distros, so like Mint, Linux Mint, Arch Linux, Endeavor OS, Ubuntu. Well, not a big fan of Ubuntu, especially that Ubuntu little scenario where Ubuntu likes to copy Windows, which I think there's a big lawsuit behind that, in my opinion. Kali Linux, Parrot OS. I use it in here. I use an application called Ventoy. It basically is a tool where you can put many distros into one USB. Whereas if you try to put a distribution in one singular USB, it's gonna format the whole thing. But with Ventoy, you can put multiple of distros in here, and I think that's very useful, especially Windows. You can use Windows as well, and if you're lucky enough, you can use Mac OS as well. So and definitely looking into something like Medicat. Medicat is basically a blue team tool that you can use to like get rid of malware. I don't know about rootkits, but you can get rid of malware, do like a password reset if you forgot your Windows password. You can do like malware analysis. They have Malwarebytes included, which is really cool. They have their own OS in there as well, which is Windows 10. But in Windows 10, they have like all these other analysis tools that you can use as well. Recordings, logging, write-ups. They have all this type of stuff. So that I'm definitely going to be using this a lot more in future projects. Maybe try to work on compromised operating systems, working on compromised machines. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. Right. So invest in a good USB stick. It doesn't have to be this, but if you have one lying around, you can definitely use it. But I'll definitely be using this. Right. But yeah, those are a couple of reasons why your Windows or computer is running slow. We covered up pretty much the basics of it, and we cover up the pretty advanced stuff too. And and I know it's been a while since I've made a video, and that I've posted anything in a while. I apologize. It's been kind of a rough new year, you know, but slowly coming back, slowly trying to get back into my path. Hopefully I'm able to push out more videos. This video is for the people that do not understand computers, and I try to make this basic as possible. If not, if they, if it's not understandable, just let me know. I'll do a more in-depth. But those are the reasons that your computer is slow. Now, a couple ways to, and I already showed you a couple ways on how to, check. But I'm also going to tell you what you should probably be more concerned about, right? Is one, do not click on links that you don't know who it's from, and even if you do know them, I would still check the link, right? So there's a website that's called I think Total Virus, right? Total Virus. This is what it's called. You can do your files in your computer, and you can do URLs. So you do google.com. It's gonna say it's good and clear, right? And then for files, you can choose a file, and let's just go to like one of the pictures I have, and let's do Snoop Dogg with Anime Girl. It's gonna check. It's gonna scan the file, and as you can see here, it's not really detecting anything, right? So yeah, Total Virus is definitely something that I will use when checking for malicious links or malicious PDFs or malicious executables, right? Definitely something that you should look into every single time. It doesn't matter if you know someone or if they're your family member. You never know the link is compromised, because links do get compromised. If y'all remember, like Yahoo got compromised, okay? Just going to yahoo.com in itself is already compromised. You don't know if a program is compromised, such as CC Cleaner, okay? If anyone was aware of CC Cleaner back then, they were breached. Lots of data was exposed. So just make sure you check the websites. Make sure you check the applications. Make sure they're clean. Make sure they're safe. Okay, don't be vulnerable. Don't expose your machine to unwanted programs and unwanted things that you do not want in your computer. Other ways is to just have good cyber hygiene, right? Just check my last videos. A couple videos ago, I talked about cyber hygiene, how to keep yourself safe. I kind of went full schizo mode, so I mean, some of the things I say in that video are gonna sound paranoia. I'm gonna sound pretty paranoid, but I mean, hey, I'd rather have a safe life and be paranoid for the rest of my life than be reckless and be exposed, right? So, but yeah, if you want to have good cyber hygiene, just check out my previous videos. I'm pretty sure you'll get an idea of how to protect yourself, right? But we're reaching the 30-minute mark in about 6 seconds. Um, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like, dislike, subscribe, don't subscribe. I do encourage everyone to share this video at least. Like, share your grandparents, your aunties, your brothers, your sisters, your friends who are not tech savvy. Make sure that they understand what they're dealing with. Make sure they know what's going on in the world. Tell them how important their data is, because even though they might not be significant and they might not play a big part in the world or in America, right? They might not have a big role. They might not be a business owner or Andrew Tate or whatever. Their data is still important, right? Their data is what drives businesses to make money, right? Your data is money in their eyes, right? So make sure they know what they're dealing with. Make sure to share this video, and make sure to tell everyone that who's not tech savvy about the dangers of having, malware into your devices, or giving out your email for a survey, whatever, right? It's very dangerous to do that if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, that concludes today's video. I really hope you like it. I'll try to make more videos as best as I can, but I can't promise you that. So until then, we'll just see where things goes, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.